and we acknowledge their dedication and commitment to the community and to us as a people. So what we must always do is we must call the names of those who struggle on our behalf, who gave up the ultimate sacrifice, which is death. And when you call on those names, not only do you bring their spirit and their energy into this room, you let our ancestors know that you understand the charge that we have as a people. And that charge is to continue the struggle of liberating people of African descent. So at this time, I need you to call out those names, and you can just call any name. It could be grandma, grandpa, it could be one of our leaders from the community, right? It could be Malcolm Martin, anyone who you know and feel should be acknowledged and recognized, and whose energy needs to come into your spirit, but in this room as well. I come from a family where my mother, who's an ancestor now, who's my queen, you know, she saw when we used to do libation at our pre-Kwanza, she said, boy, you're gonna kill my plant. So I learned sometimes just to drop the water in so I wouldn't have to get in trouble. So if it's okay with you, I know that my mother, Ma, is in charge of the winds. She's in charge of nature, right, as she transitioned. So me and my brothers and sisters always feel her spirit every time we go to her gravesite, right? So when I pour libation, I'm very, very careful to make sure that I don't do anything to the plant. So I appreciate if you help me with that. But at this time, I need you to call the names, so that call them so loud that they can hear you making that call. And anyone can make that call. I'm going to start with my queen, my mother, Dashia Marie Smallwood, and I'm going to say Harambe. Sometimes we say Ashe, but I believe during this time we say Harambe so we can keep that unity going within the contents of this Kwanza. Is that all right with the family? Yeah. All right, Sante Sana. Dashia Marie Smallwood, Harambe. Harambe. All them out, family. Harambe. Harambe.
David Williams.
Harambe.
Patricia Williams.
Harambe. 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 What's your grandmother's name, sir? Harambe.
Harriet Tubman.
Harambe. 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 Harambe.
Good evening, my name is Alexis Swanson. Welcome to the second day of Kwanza. The second day of Kwanza is Kujichagulia. Kujichagulia means self-determination. To define ourselves, to name for ourselves, to speak for ourselves, and to create for ourselves. It also means to me is to strive and push myself to be the best of my abilities.
Holiday of Kwanzaa has been around in America since around 1967. Is that right? 67. 66. All right. See how we're working together? Thank you, brother. 1966. And it was started by a brother from out in California as a way for, you know, Africans in America or African Americans to identify and reach and connect with their culture. So he chose to use the language, like Brother Smallwood said, of Kiswahili, which is very widely used in Africa at that time and as well as in this particular point in time. And he felt that if we had principles that he called what do you call the principles?
Nguzo Saba.
The Nguzo Saba, that if we live by these principles, we will be a strong and productive people. And we celebrate Kwanzaa because we also agree that if we do live by these principles, that it will help us to be a strong and intelligent and productive people. And these principles are principles that we say that we would like to live by in order for our family and a cultural structure to be strong. Now, like I said, all of these other groups, racial and ethnic groups, have culture as a they draw from when they do business out in the world and they deal with their families. So the brother created Kwanza as a way for us to do the same thing and to be able to do the same thing. So he used our universal colors, African-centered colors of the red, black, and green given to us by the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey as our flag. And who knows what the red means in the blood of our people, yes. The red stands for the blood of our people. And the black stands for what? The people, right? Some people say, well, what do you mean black stands for us? I'm not black, I'm brown. Yes, you are. But even though phenotypically there's various variations of shades of African people, the start or the primary color is black. You may say that's not so. Okay, in today's time, take a trip to 116th Street in an African market and you see a brother that you might bump into because he's at night, because he's so beautifully blue-black that you won't see him coming. When you bump into him, he'll say, oh, excuse me, and the only way you know he was there is because you see his teeth. Right? Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I say things like this, I mean it in a positive way. Not the negative self-hatred way that we was taught to hate blacks and to hate big noses. Don't act like you wasn't taught that. And to hate big lips and nappy hair. You understand what I'm saying? So when I say those things, I'm talking about from the reprogrammed way of loving those things, not hating those things. And not from the reverse self-hatred way of saying that that dark black is better than the light black, right? Because we have all shades of variations of that black of our people. You understand what I'm saying to you? All right. And we are the only people that have that. True or false? True or false? That's us. So, the brother created it and he used African principles. The Nguzu Saba. What's principle number 1? Which means what? Unity. What's principle number 2? Which means what? What's principle number 3? Ujima. Which means what? Collective work and responsibility. What's principle number 4? Ujima or Ujama. Which means what? Cooperative economics. What's principle number 5? Nia, which means purpose. What's principle number 6? Kuumba, which means creativity. Which principle number 7? Imani, which means faith. Now who's going to sit here and tell me that those are beautiful, beautiful principles? Get those principles as strong. Collective work and responsibility. If we utilize those principles, we'd be cleaned up overnight. Overnight. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up our brother, our good brother, as well as our respected councilman, Councilman William McCoy. Give Councilman a strong hand. Give our councilman a strong hand.
Thank you. Give our brother a hand tonight. He didn't have a script, he didn't have anything written down. He's been dropping some knowledge on us tonight to really expand our mind and to open us up to what's really important in our culture as we celebrate tonight. I bring you Umoja, unity, and Kujichagulia, meaning self-determination. And it's interesting that unity comes before the notion of self-determination. Because you can't be a self-determined people unless you have some unity. And it's interesting, a few years ago, somebody was telling me that because I was from Jamaica, I wasn't black. And it blew my mind when we talk about Marcus Mosiah Garvey and all that he has brought to us in terms of the level of understanding that we're talking about Africa for the Africans, both at home and abroad. And sometimes we don't understand that. But I'm so moved tonight to be here, to be a part of this movement and initiative to educate our people, because education is power. Let me do that by saying if education and knowledge doesn't change your behavior, then you haven't really been taught. So let me back up and to say to my elder brother, Chief Moody, permission to speak. I think we've learned that tonight. May I? All right, thank you. And I think it's something important as we bring our young people. My son is here tonight, and I think it's so important that we begin to educate our young people as to the meaning of these situations. They're not just symbols. The culture and the format is there to reinforce that which we already believe. So Brother Bilal, I want to thank you for establishing and bringing to mind my good friend Kamal Kalafani, who was a strong brother, and sometimes we don't acknowledge the root of folks. He comes from the same place I come from, at least his father, from Jamaica. And we recognize tonight, as we've been taught, that it's only the port that we dropped off at, right? We're all on the same boat, coming from the same place, and it's just a matter of one stop versus the other. Right. So the nanny people of Jamaica is the same struggle that we face against colonialism and in slavery, and bring out ourselves as a people. So I know that Jimmy is here tonight. He's going to be speaking, and he's going to be dropping some history on us. I reached out to him today to say that Black History Month is coming up on the Municipal Council, and we want to make this year very significant. I was going to tell you that it's the shortest month of the year that we've been assigned, but my brother already educated that. And it's not by happenstance that we happen to get the shortest month, but we're going to get the most out of it, right? And if we can demonstrate unity and spend that dollar, when he said it to me, I was churning in my own head, how many times has my black dollar circulated in my community? And we ought to be able to look at that and anchor that, because it's significant. Most other cultures seem to understand that principle, and I think we do too. We just don't go far enough to make it happen. That's right. So tonight we have some change, we have some movement, and we ought to commit ourselves not just to look at the principles as an event, but to look at it for a cultural change and to make a movement forward. So let me demonstrate again that I am learning. I'm going to give my shout out to my queen, Mrs. McCoy, 32 years, strong, and y'all say I'm difficult, but she says no, I'm not so difficult, I'm manageable. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for what you have shown me tonight. My spirit has been uplifted because of this self-determination. And self-determination don't mean individually. It means collectively, as a body. So when we think about the longest serving councilman in the city of Paterson, that's black. It's this brother right here. Said, you ought to keep that brother going. Now, who are the other two that say, hey, let's swap him out? That's not self-determination. Self-determination is you're going to be strong and you're going to support the positive movement forward, not to cut our brothers down. We don't have to be crab in the barrel mentality. if there's 100 crabs in the barrel, we could get 97 or something out if you work together and you dream up, right? In unity, you can get that out. But we don't do that. We pull each other down. We're going to change that tonight. We're going to change that mentality tonight. We're going to